Welcome back. We're here at the office of Sarah McClennen in the gallery in New London, and joining me now is another resident of the gallery, Dr. Greg Curtis. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for having me.
So your new practice is here.
That's
in
correct.
The gallery. Very good. And tell us a little bit about your background.
So, Lynn, I trained originally at Medical College of Pennsylvania, Hahnemann University in Philadelphia. I did all my training there as internship, residency, as well as some fellowship training in infectious diseases, and then stayed as a clinical assistant professor of medicine there prior to relocating to New Hampshire. Once I relocated to New Hampshire, I joined New London Hospital as a primary care physician, and since then I've had a variety of roles at New London Hospital, including president of medical staff, chief medical officer, and also some roles in the clinical informatics side.
Wow. So now your new practice here, tell us about the design of that. It's a little different.
Yeah, so at the end of July, I left an employed status at New London Hospital, and I developed my private practice. What I've labeled the practice as is personalized health care. And personalized health care has many other names probably, but all of them are rooted in the same basic premise. And that is to build a much stronger, trusting relationship between the patient and the physician that's not as hindered by third-party relationships.
Meaning insurers.
Exactly.
Well, it's funny because what's old is now new again. That seems like a very old style where you had the same physician from cradle to grave almost, and you really did develop a very nice rapport with that physician. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, but that seems to be what your practice is trying to bring in.
That is absolutely right. I've actually said that to my kids a few times, that I'm going old school.
Right.
And I think this medicine may take that route in many ways. I mean, there are lots of these practices that are starting to develop a little bit. Patients may also know them by other names, concierge, boutique medicine, ideal medical practices, direct pay. They all, they're different names, and each practice may actually be a little different from one another. But they're all basically rooted in that same premise of more personalized care that can afford people with time and access to care and the like.
Right. So what made you want to get into a practice like this one?
So I've always enjoyed the patient-physician relationship and getting to know patients really well. What sort of at one point maybe drove me a little from primary care was the fact that we just simply couldn't spend time with the patients. There are many just great primary care folks out there that are just sort of strapped by how to practice medicine these days.
Yes.
I found that very challenging as well, and therefore briefly kind of left primary care for that reason. But now, I want to come back to that because I think it can be done in a way that really makes sense and that can deliver on the patient-physician relationship a lot more, serve them much better, give them much more time and access to care, much better focus on preventative care and wellness than ever before. Sort of going back to the old days when folks really did know their primary care physician and they knew their family well, and when they came in the door they called them by first name and the like. And then that's really the design of my practice. There are no co-pays. There are no exchange of cards coming through the door. Essentially, it's a handshake and a warm greeting, and then I can go ahead and take care of them.
That's a breath of fresh air. That's wonderful. Yeah. Now, how easy is it to transition from a practitioner into your practice?
It's no more difficult than transitioning from any other practitioner, really. It's simply, patients need to contact me, and I'd be happy to set up a personal meeting with them to discuss the practice in more detail and really just sort of get to know them and make sure it's the right fit. And that's always really important. And from that standpoint on, they can really just submit some forms to release their records to me, and there's really no major issues there. It's quite easy these days, especially in the world of electronic medicine. Things have gotten, harder in some ways, but easier in others.
Easier with medical records, at least.
Absolutely.
Yes. So what do you think some of the benefits to your patients would be in a practice like yours?
So the benefits to my patients in this type of practice setting are really a couple-fold, like I touched on. So time. So instead of coming to me and having a 7-minute visit, which today's world, the average patient panel is around 2,000 patients for a primary care doctor, even sometimes above that. And there are some studies, lots of studies that show very short visit times face-to-face. So in my setting, that's not part of my practice. My practice is to really get to know people, spend the time to listen, if it takes 30 minutes, if it takes an hour, if it takes an hour and a half, whatever it takes to get that done so that they feel well cared for is really a prime objective. So time is a big part. And inclusive of that is also sort of the access to care and the ability to schedule appointments readily, same-day visits.
That's nice.
You know, worst case next day, but often most patients can be accommodated the same day. I can make visits to assisted living settings as well, which I think would be very advantageous for folks. Those are all important things. And the access side, in terms of getting a hold of me. So patients get my cell phone number.
Wow.
You know, they can contact me at home. They can contact me through email, and we can communicate through other methods as well.
Directly.
Using my patient portal from my electronic record and the like, whichever's most appropriate to connect with them.
Well, innovative. I love the whole concept, and you've got a great website, which has got some great information, answers some additional questions that we haven't touched on here. So we would ask our audience if they had any more information, if they had any more questions, check out your website or give you a call, because you probably can call them right back. That's the way it's built.
Absolutely right, and that's, I think, the best way. I think the website will answer many of their questions.
Sure. Well, welcome to the gallery. Thanks for your time, Doctor.
Thank you, Lynn.
Take care.
Take care.
To check out more videos like this one, click here. And to find our YCN news, click here. You can find out more information about our guest today and find a link to the full show in the description below. With new videos every week, be sure you subscribe to our channel and keep up with everything that's going on in the Kearsarge region. Thanks for watching the Kearsarge Chronicle. Goodbye.